Hey, this is Matt, and the next edition of the Apprentice Toolkit, where we look at different tools that'll hopefully be useful for you in your journey of working out what it means to live faith in a practical kind of way. Today, I'm reading or talking about a book that I initially was resistant to, if I have to be honest, because this book is written by one of the pastors from the Bethel Church. Now, I don't know if you've heard about the Bethel Church. It's a big charismatic kind of church in the States, and the main reason I was resistant to a book by a pastor from the Bethel Church is not a good one. It's just, I think it's partly my Australianness. I don't love big successful churches, which is probably something I need to face in myself, if I'm to be honest. But I have to say that this is the best book on relationships that I have ever come across. The author is a man by the name of Danny Silk, and this book is called Keep Your Love On. If I'm doing pre-marriage counselling with anybody, I'll want to give them a copy of this book. If anyone I'm talking to is having challenges in relationships, I'll want to give them a copy of this book. If anybody is feeling like a bit of a victim in relationships, I'll want to give them a copy of this book. If anybody just wants to know what a healthy relationship looks like, I'll want to give them a copy of this book. Now, that sounds like a bit overplaying it, but it's not. Part of the reason I appreciate this book so much is my background with Fusion and all the training in Fusion around relationships and healthy relationships and what they look like. This book takes many of those core insights that I picked up in Fusion, adds a number of other ones, and puts it together in a way that is simple and easy to engage with, and frankly pretty challenging. The book is divided into 3 sections, and as you can look, just so you can have a quick look, so you can see the text is quite big, it's quite easy to read, a lot of stories, but profound insights about what does it mean to have healthy relationships. And the 3 sections are connection, communication, and boundaries. What does it mean to genuinely connect with somebody? What does it mean to effectively communicate with somebody? And what does it mean to have healthy boundaries in relationships? And that last section is the section I was truly impressed with. Like the other 2 are very helpful too. But there aren't many books that talk about how to have healthy boundaries, particularly in the context of effective communication and connection. There are some books, there's a book called Boundaries by Cloud and Townsend, that tends to primarily just focus on the boundaries, but generally speaking, most relationship books are about, getting over yourself and being willing to love the other person, which is all right and true. But there can be a danger in that kind of talk and thinking that it goes too far, and you lose yourself in the relationship. In a healthy relationship, there is this self-giving that must be part of it. It is about giving yourself, but there is also the necessity to have healthy boundaries. And what I really appreciate is the very practical way this book talks about how you put boundaries in place in relationships and where to draw the lines, and a very useful insight about the fact that you actually need to treat people differently. You should have different boundaries, and he has a diagram. I don't know how well you can see it there, but just different concentric circles. And what he's saying is, at the core of who you are, you should have a relationship with God, and that has to be your primary relationship. But then there really should only be one other person at the core of who you are if you're going to have a healthy relationships. If you're going to ultimately be committed to someone long term, that you need to have a place for them that is sort of sacrosanct, that no one else comes into. So what's helpful for me in that is just understanding the unique and special place that your life partner has to have in your life. And for me, there are some things that, in terms of time and emotional energy and things, that is only right for me to give my wife. But then he talks about how you also then need to say, okay, you then treat your kids differently than you treat your wife. You treat your close friends differently than you treat your kids. You treat your work colleagues differently than you treat your close friends. And you need to understand where your relationship is up to with people, and kind of what level each of your relationships is up to, and where you place them. And that he points out that a lot of relationship damage happens because we've got people in inappropriate levels of relationship. So that's just one insight from the book. I can't recommend it more highly. If you, like me, and I think like everybody, sometimes struggle to work out what does a healthy relationship look like? How do I maintain healthy relationships with the people who are in my life? This book, Keep Your Love On, by Danny Silk, is a book that has challenged me, confronted my prejudices, and is one that I strongly recommend. So that's Keep Your Love On by Danny Silk, and hopefully next week we'll have more than hopefully next week we'll have something that I trust you'll find just as helpful.